looking at it, I guess, from the cross-border standpoint, we've mentioned PSET already and PSAFE, place of safekeeping and place of settlement. Why are they so problematic, MJ?
Yes, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, the cross-border piece, potentially should have been solved a while ago with industry moves and market infrastructure changes and so on, but we're not quite there yet. I think it's because things can fluctuate, and as we know, we've said the word automation is used all the time, but fragmentation too, it's a key problem and a key challenge across the European jurisdiction, especially as it comes to settlement. Some particular funds cannot settle at the usual or standard place of settlement. Some buy-side firms, some sell-side firms require different settlement at different times. And again, it comes back to that kind of inventory problem. I think the PSET challenge is something that is potentially solvable as long as we work together in the right way as a community. And I think T1's brought everybody together in the right way. One thing I would say about PSAFE is, again, it can fluctuate. You could be sent the most accurate PSAFE record first thing in the morning, but by 1 p.m. that could be out of date because there could be funds that take part in lending cycles. There could be inventory that didn't come in, inventory that didn't go out. So the problem is not having a really dynamic, real-time view of exactly where something is at that point in time. We also, see funds have different strategies. They might get better funding from a prime broker at a different time of the day or on different days of the week. So they want to move everything around, and that will change where that place of safekeeping holding is. But my particular view is, if we can focus on PSET, and it is heavily referenced in the recommendations from a UK and EU perspective, it needs to be present on the allocation confirmation message. It absolutely needs to be on a trade instruction or the trade settlement message down to the CSD or the global custodian, which again is why we've tried from a DTCC perspective to help try and move the industry to a certain degree. We're going to be mandating that PSET needs to be a data point on all CTM messaging come October 3rd this year, when we're running a vast number of obviously client workshops, client working groups to make sure that we get this right in the correct way. I think we're tracking this extremely closely as well when we're sharing the data with anyone that asks for it, to be completely honest. I think from the end of Q1 or early April, there was only something like 2.6% of transactions in CTM that did not have a PSET. So even though we're not going as far to say that you must match on the PSET, we're just saying that the PSET needs to be present. Hopefully it will help drive the industry to better standards and better processes. It will make our clients meet obligations or recommendations from a T1 perspective. And again, even having the PSET present on the transaction, even if you're not matching, you can see what your counterparty wants to do. Again, so it allows you to make a decision whether you need to rebook or redepot a line, or whether you want to go full on for a cross-border settlement.
Sure. So understanding fund preferences for PSAFE is very important. And PSET, I think there was some hope within the industry that the regulators would mandate the use of it or the checking of it, but that just didn't happen at the European level. But never mind. Leah, did you want to comment as well on PSAFE and PSET?
Yeah. So in Europe, unless we have a really good process for cross-border settlement, organizations need to consider PSET the same as PSAFE, as in you need to have inventory management in place to the level where you're going to instruct your PSET to be the same as the PSAFE. So you need to understand where you're holding your securities. But not only that, also there are some certain clients that have different requirements in different jurisdictions. And so again, where you want it to settle is potentially not where it can settle, or where you have settled in the past is potentially not where you're going to hold that position today, because your client might have a standing instruction with the custodian that will move that position to a different location the moment it's settled. So very important for organizations to have that conversation open with all the different parties to understand where it is that it's been held, and then agree where it's going to settle, unless you're going to do cross-border. But cross-border, I don't think we can achieve on a T+1 basis today. So it's very tricky. Now, in an ideal world, you have a trader know exactly where everything is, right? So at that point, then the trader will instruct where that's going to settle based on where he knows it held. But that's in an ideal world. I don't think we're ever going to be able to achieve that, sadly.
And we have to work with what we've got. I think that's the issue here, isn't it? But certainly some good recommendations there.